All right. Welcome to the Unsexy Businessmen podcast, where we talk everything unsexy businesses and entrepreneurship. I'm Aaron Skinner, along with my brother, Alex Skinner, and we have a very special guest today. Our first guest might be our best guest. Actually, yeah, you are our best guest, Eric, but let me give you a little intro. All right. So today we have a very old friend of mine. I've known him for about 20 years. Our audience is made up of a diverse group of entrepreneurs. And one of the biggest issues that a lot of entrepreneurs run into is sales. And when I get the question, who is the best salesman or woman that I know? Eric, this one's for you. I always say Erik Pyper. So we brought him in today to help all the entrepreneurs who are struggling with sales, systems, automation, training. This is going to be a great podcast. But before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about Erik and why we brought him on, besides that he's the best salesperson that I know. I'm going to go through some of your accolades, Erik. He brings over 20 years of experience in the door-to-door and residential sales industry, with special focus on business-to-business and door-to-door residential channels. He's the owner and founder of DoorDriven. It's a multi-state D2D sales business specializing in diverse number of fields, operating out of Idaho while managing remote offices across the United States. He's got his real estate license. So just if you got any real estate questions, you can ask him that too. One key win for Erik is after implementing a remote coaching and analytic platform, he reduced travel significantly. Although he is traveling right now, no longer flying every week to each office, thereby buying back time with his family while scaling his operations. He emphasizes systemization and leverage. For example, new reps under his system went from trial and error learning to measurable performance improvement in days rather than months. Sorry, I had to read this. There's too much. I had to get all this out. So this is going to be stuff that I wrote down. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Erik Pyper. Was that a good intro, Erik?
Bro, that's the most glazing. Oh my God. I'm just wiping it off. It's that's absolutely insane. He went from dozens of fans all over the world, dozens. Honestly, dude, like, I'm so bad at sales that I've gotten good at sales.
Shut up.
No. Well, I'll come back to this. I'm gonna tie you in a hot second, Mr. Skinner. Both of you. I'm addressing. Which one's older, by the way? Is it Alex or Aaron? I mean, we've got a lot of A's in the game.
You have no idea. You don't know?
No, I don't know. You guys, there's 15 of you guys running around, and you're like the tribes of Israel, bro. The diaspora, like the 12. You just spread out like dandelion seeds getting blown off the coasts of California. To just plan.
And this is, ladies and gentlemen, how you do door-to-door sales.
Yeah, exactly. You just bullshit. No, that's a great introduction, but it's so like, this is the shitty thing for people that don't really like know me personally. Like, the people that know me personally, like, that's not, Erik's not. And the people that like know me in the professional world, they're like, yeah, you left some stuff out. And that's by design. Like, I really always want to take third place, like just bronze, get me on the podium. I never want to be the best. But I don't ever want to not place. Like, get me a medal. Silver sucks. Like, you're just second place loser. And bronze, you're just happy to be there, dude. Every time you see somebody that finished bronze, you're like, whoa, I beat that fourth place sucker. Eat it. Like, it's just like they're the most thrilled. And the person that's in first place is just miserable. They're like, oh my gosh, I could have shaved this and I could have done that better. And shucks. But they're like, I saw that happen. Wes and I went out to this like gun shoot, and we watched this guy. He was the best. Everybody knew he was the best. Yeah, I was there just to have a good time, and this guy was there to take it all, and he took it all, and he was miserable. And I'm like, well, I don't want that. So, no, I appreciate the accolades. That was it was a nice little introduction, man. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Sure. And one more thing I wanted to do as an accolade for Erik. Erik is starting his fitness journey, which you can follow him.
Shut the hell up, bro.
You can follow him on his Instagram.
No. I'm trying to do content. I'm trying to do content that like keeps me accountable. And
Is that
Yeah.
not a fitness journey? I watched the video. You said, follow me in my fitness journey. I'm just promoting it, man. We have dozens of followers.
I'm going to sell you guys on the fitness stream. Goya, it's a get off your ass. That's a Sam Taggart thing. But yeah, no, don't on the fitness thing. Please do not on the fitness thing. Fitness pizza in my mouth. I don't want anything to do with fitness. But the unfortunate truth is, after so many Bahama Mamas and gas station glizzies, my body's betraying me, like the old man that I'm becoming. So I need to figure it out.
All right. Well, let's get into, I'm going to ask you the first question that I believe every single entrepreneur has gone through, is rejection. Everyone dreads rejection. When I first started my business, that was my big thing. No one likes rejection, right? So I'd be interested of like, what was one of your most painful no's and how did you bounce back from it?
Oh, what a deep question.
That's all, folks. All right. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Go crush, guys. Be better. You just give them generalities like, be better, loser.
Don't give up.
You can do it. Honestly, it's got like cue the cut to Bane. Like, I was born in the dark. You know, like that is honestly what has to happen in certain industries. And, you know, I think the biggest rejection that I got was the love of my father. No kidding. I will say
Wait, do you say that's how it is in most industries? There's a Bane character?
Rejection is just.
Oh, rejection. Rejection. I thought you were still referencing Bane. I was like, I guess, yeah. Yeah.
No. Okay. One of the biggest rejections I had is, ooh, this is a tough one. This was a tough one. So I was to a point in my career where I felt like we stumbled into a really good opportunity with the provider. So I sell fiber optic door to door. We basically just set up the customer for service. They handle everything after that point. And I remember I got a team. They were a ragtag group. This is circa 2019, pre-COVID by a year. And I remember it was really good area, really good promotion, really good product. Everything was good. And I went in and I was selling really well. And I had a meeting with the gal, did great. We stayed for a month. I rented this like nice ski lodge, had 5 of us living there. And the rest of the team just didn't produce. And then every night I was getting rejected by them. And then I was okay getting rejected on the doors, but they were struggling to kind of connect the dots and level up. It was a cold time of year. I think it was in like February, March in Vermont.
Sure.
And I remember we were selling and I soured the relationship to the point, because they expected more production out of us, that we lost the contract.
Oof.
And I remember looking at that being like, why am I not getting turf? I'm like, why I'm doing well. Why is my team not performing? How come I can't like get this going to the next level? Like, this is the opportunity I've been waiting for. What the hell is going on? And then instead of getting like serious about reaching out in my network or learning and improving and checking my ego, I just started to get frustrated like a bitch. And I started to like whine and complain and moan. And pretty soon that opportunity dried up. And I remember sitting in my truck in 2020 after I hadn't worked for 6 months and I was contemplating bankruptcy. And I remember calling my dad, and that like rejection of all the efforts that I'd been putting in, compounding to that point post-COVID where I couldn't really go door to door, even though I was an essential worker. That time was weird. And I was doing like larger contract stuff. And I just was like, I'm done. Like, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. And that feeling was, oh man, it's brutal. I can't really even bring it to words. It was,
it's awful. Yeah. Yep.
But
I don't know if that answers your question. Like,
how did you bounce back from that? That's the second part of that question.
This is funny. So my podcast that I'm doing, you're gonna be a guest, but both of you are. It's the same thing. It's breaks not broken. Like, what was the moment when you almost broke and didn't? And I think there's a lot we can share with one another. to understand how people got out of it. Now, some people don't rebound. Like right then, I could have turned to drugs, alcohol, loose women. I could have turned to all sorts of shit, gambling. Let's just go on all the stuff I should have done. But I didn't, right? And I remember my dad said something to me. He's just like, well, if you file bankruptcy, they can't eat you. And you got a beautiful family. So you got 2 legs and you're capable. You better figure it out. And it was like the stupidest advice ever. Like, they can't eat you. And then I had this like click in my head. It's like, well, why am I not eating them? Like, what is going on where I'm not the one? Why am I prey right now? Like, why am I not out there killing and attacking and taking? And so then I got a shitty job working for a linen company. It was the worst job I think I've ever had in my life. I was their top salesman in a year, did my other business on the side. And, within a couple years, another opportunity presented itself. And that's kind of where we're at today.
So what did you do different? So that first venture failed, right? So you went and got another job. You hated it, but you still performed well. You started something. What did you do different to make it successful the second go around?
Man, this is so damn, Eric, come on now. Let's ease into this, man. Like,
I've been
kiss
watching
me a little bit. Like, dance
I've been
with
watching
me.
a lot of hot ones, and so I got to go with the deep questions.
But you're hitting me with the bomb at the end, the first. They do it the opposite.
You got to keep them engaged, man. Got to keep them engaged.
Where does this end, bro? Golly, you start asking personal questions. Shit, man, this is such a layered question. One was faith. Like, I broke down. I had a real coming to Jesus, and I just started screaming out at the universe, crying and asking for ways to help my family. And I don't know if that was just a cathartic experience or if it was prayers being answered. I don't know, but I just did. I broke,
yeah,
in that way. And then the other was, I saw a Gary V thing where he said, sometimes you just got to play defense for a long time before you can even start to get healthy enough to play offense or something like that. I mean, I'm misquoting him. And then there's a bunch of F words in the middle there. But like, that was the truth. Like, I really had to play defense. And so I knew by doing that job, I took out like a loan. I paid it off. Once that was paid off, it's like, boom, things came. So what got me out of it was anchoring with my family. It, like, having real purpose, feeling like I was just putting one foot in front of the other, and I was okay to play defense until I could play offense. So, it was hard. It was hard. I mean, for 6 months, I was sad.
Sure. And I think, like I said, I think a lot of entrepreneurs, I personally went through this. Alex has gone through this. Every entrepreneur goes through this. If it's not the very beginning, which I would say 99% of the time it is, it could be farther down the line where you run into a slump. But what did you do different with the new business that made it successful? So like, you must have learned like, hey, I did this thing, it didn't work, I got to pivot. What did you pivot to, or what did you do differently?
Love that. Okay, so how much time you got, brother? This is
as much time as you have.
I don't know if we want to do that. This is where I really feel. And I've been telling my sales staff this. I tell them all the time. I was like, man, if you don't work on yourself and you don't work on your network, you'll never grow. And I wasn't working on my network. I didn't care because I think that's just all phooey and it sucks and it's dumb. And, I heard Sam Taggart said this to me the other day. We were doing like a breakout, and he said, it really is your network plus something equals your net worth. But he said, I want to add in your self-worth. And so part of me had to work on my self-worth of feeling like I was okay where I was, and it was fine to not be in the limelight or running my own ship. It was fine. It's almost like I watch these guys on Deadliest Catch, and all they want to do is be the captain. I'm like, you sure you want that? Because you're gonna be responsible. And if there's a fire, you're out at ocean and you're going to sink, and you're responsible for all these people and all these employees. And if you don't catch crab, they're going to blame you. Then they're up at, 2 a.m. smoking cigarettes, one after another. And I look at that and I'm like, that's entrepreneurship. Like, if you want to be the captain and you don't want anybody else at the helm, then you're cut for it. Mm-hmm. And so I did want that. And I knew inside, like, I don't ever want to work for a corporation. If I got a greenhorn and I got to go back on deck and I got to grunt for a bit and just be a sales guy, until I get that new thing. Like, I knew I was always going to get back in the captain chair. So really a large part of what got me out of it was the perspective I had to know I was going to get back in the seat. Like, I knew that I was not going to be settled or happy being settled with just some sales gig.
I just, tactics aside, you just kept going. You just didn't give up.
Ish. But you can be absolutely brain dead and keep going. Like, you got to know when to play defense, and it's that sword and shield. And sometimes you need to be willing to be like, I don't know what I'm doing in business. I keep beating my head against this wall over and over, and I don't have the answers. And that's where you got to work on yourself and then your network. And so I just read and I educated myself, and I was always learning. And one of the websites that I was learning and I read from was this website called Fierce Telecom. And I just read it. It's just an open blog. Post-COVID, I want to know everything was going on. I was like, well, some people are making money. Like, Amazon's striking it rich during this crap. Like, what's going on? Supply chains. And I'm like, these people are making money right now. That was a drastic shift. Where are they at? And where can I add value in that ecology? And so then, like, yes, it is keep going, but it's like cautiously, you're using all your senses, you're sniffing, you're looking, you're listening. You have all that business stuff that you're not taking anything for granted. You just put your head down and go, go, go. You're using your senses to kind of guide that next step, I think.
Right. And then so once you got to that point where you've worked on yourself and you're in a good, I mean, I think the other thing I got out of that too was educating yourself. Like, it's not thinking you already know everything. It's going to legitimate sources to try and educate yourself better on, tactics or what's going to be popular in order to build a business, kind of a thing. But like once you had that all figured out, what did you learn on when you started because this new venture that you're doing is doing really well, and you have your sales team. So you had your sales team before that sucked and didn't perform. What did you do different with the new sales team, the new everything that has made you as successful as you are now?
Great. There's a lot of stuff. I think the biggest thing is I served them before. It's kind of like, okay, so I had a breakout moment where I was really frustrated with how people perceived me, because I've always known I had a gift, and I've always known that I was slightly more intelligent than my peers, marginal. But I've always known I've had a gifted mind, and I could see the chessboard things, and I could not predict, but I could always see it. Like in 2007, like, I knew podcasting was a thing before Joe Rogan started his first podcast, before anybody even knew it. Flip, I even missed my brother-in-law's wedding to go to this seminar in Portland and present my senior thesis with a couple of classmates on podcasts. And then I did nothing with it. And if I would have just started a podcast at that moment about anything, it could have been, I'm going to start a podcast around boxer shorts and how they rub and, for fat guys.
Sure.
And I would be a millionaire right now. Right.
Yeah. Right.
And that's just whatever, hindsight. Then fast forward, crypto goes on and my buddy's mining it. This is like early. I think Bitcoin was like $1,000. And he's mining this on his rigs. And I'm just like, yeah, cool. And I mined it with him. And we had all this stuff and I did it. And then I just half-assed it. And so when I looked at the business and I looked at what was going on, my dad always told me he's a great inspiration. He's got a lot of weird sage wisdom. But one of the things he said to me is like, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. And I just realized that my whole sales career for 20 days was just a whimper compared to what I could do if I decided to just go out and hunt and attack and kill like a grizzly. Like I'm going to just go tear stuff up. And in my wake, I can help a lot of critters and creatures and things to have a life that they need. And I had the shift with money, and I had the shift with influence and, what we call or perceived power. And I decided then that, like, if I'm a grizzly bear and I'm turning over a rock, or I go, swat this elk on the back, it feeds this whole this ecology of individuals live on that. And a lot of them never are going to have the prowess or the gifts to be a grizzly, but a lot of them look up to and praise and are grateful for that grizzly. And
Sure.
I had to realize that like my place in the market is to just go do me,
Sure.
just go tear it up, just go do what
Right.
I think and trust myself and my senses and just mix it up and do what I do. And then, yeah, I could get myself into some trouble. Yeah, I could, but I know how to go hunt again. There's tomorrow. And having that perspective, like I'll never do anything else now. Like I know who I am. I know what I'm capable of. I trust my brain now. So it was kind of like, I think this is what I will say about that is kind of like when I got the first kill was the first real vindication of like, oh, I'm a grizzly. Cause you still don't know, you're timid. And
Right.
when I got that first contract, I had been getting good contracts, but when I got that first one and that first month hit and, we made a gob of money, I was like, oh, like I can do this, and I
Right.
didn't have it figured out, if that makes sense. It's a long answer.
No. Well, what I kind of garner from that is what, again, this is a podcast for entrepreneurs, is you had this switch where you're just like, I had the exact same thing, dude. I think Alex did too. I think all entrepreneurs do. Not all entrepreneurs do. I think a lot of entrepreneurs get to that point where it's not working and they're just like, fuck it. I'm going to go back to my other job or whatever it is. I'm just going to give up. And then you get the ones that get that switch that they're like, no, fuck that. I'm not going back to my old job. I hated that job. I'm going to do whatever I have to do in order to make this work. And then you just go do it. You go knock doors, you go into businesses, you go do whatever you have to do to become successful. And again, we talk about this in one of our other podcasts. One of my favorite quotes is, I find the harder I work, the luckier I get. And the harder you work, you come across that contract that you came across. I mean, you have these little successes during it, right? But then you get that big one and you're like, yes, this is exactly why I've been doing this. And then it just motivates you to keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it.
100%. But the
Yeah.
thing is during the moment, it's kind of like when somebody tells you, like my dad told me I had this girl I had a crush on in high school and I thought I loved her. And then she did some bullshit and, bitches, right? And anyways, so sorry for any of the ladies in the audience. You know what you do. Like, you know how you mess us up. So, but I'm past that. I'm happily married. But what I'm saying is,
Sounds like it.
no, I really am. I love my wife. She's kind of one of the, I got a real good story about how she just is no nonsense. And so a lot of times, like when I'm on my bullshit, she just does not let me. She's like, no, you're suck. You're not as good as you think you are. Like, why is the competition beating you? Anyways, she's a tough gal. But back to what I was going to say is like, when I had that and I thought I loved this woman, my dad's like, it's puppy love. I'm like, what do you know? You've only been married 4 times, and, right? Like, I was like, oh, I love this woman. This is a forever love. And he's like, bro, that's such a new relationship. And you guys are so dumb. Like, but in the moment, no one can talk you out of that emotion that you're feeling. And it feels like you have to go on your own walkabout and your own journey. And it has to become this experience that in retrospect is cathartic. And you can look back on it fondly, but in the moment you were suffering and struggling through it. And any entrepreneur that tells you that it's not a struggle and a suffer, and they're not like rattling around all these negative ideas and these comfortable things, and you can go back, like they're bullshitting you. They're not giving you the juice. The juice is like, you have to go in and it's ayahuasca, and you got to come out of that hut sweaty and swampy and enlightened. And then you got to work your tail off in order to actualize it. And I've seen so many people that will come out of that experience and then they just don't have the mechanisms for work. They don't translate it. And so all this great potential is just wasted.
Sure. Yeah, dude, I love that. I'll give you a softball. All right. So what's one sales technique that everybody swears by, but you think is absolute garbage?
That's bullshit?
Yeah.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
SEO. No kidding.
Whoa.
Oh.
Cut the podcast. Cut it.
No, I think
Sales
it's
tactic. Come
it's
on.
legit. Well, it's marketing. You know what it is. What I'll say, like a tactic that people use is, it's not even really like there's so many tactics and like psychological things that people do that drive me up a wall. Um,
Name
I
one.
don't call anyone out. I don't want to do it like that.
You don't have to say their name. Just say
No, but
Aaron.
you'd know pretty quickly. There's like certain people now that they're in the cultural zeitgeist of sales, and they get
Sure.
out there and they act like they're the only people because they talk with so much emotion that can actually connect the product because they're so emphatic and emotional and they're so excited. And I think the biggest misnomer, I've got guys that are like robots, bro, but they understand the mechanisms. Like here's the one thing I will say is that people assume that sales is an art and not a science, and any single individual can do sales. And so the tactic or the thing is like thinking that you need to be or become or take a course or be that guy. That's not what it is. What you need to do is take the course and learn from that guy so you get your voice. You need to
Sure.
understand like what are they doing that I can use and what are they doing that I can use, and then you need to find your voice. And so it's not a one size fits all sales thing that people do. That I see that with Gary Vee. I see that with some other popular ones. And
Andy
Gary,
Elliott. So I learned from Andy Elliott is I have to get a 6-pack or I'm not going to sell anything.
yeah, 100%. I'm the chubbiest dude out there. I look like my life's in shambles. I'm wiping crumbs and shit off my chest as I'm getting up to the house. I'm checking my beard but I've had guys where I had an epiphany, a real breakthrough last year. This time last year, it was November last year, where I had this guy. He was an engineer. He quit his job. Well, he was thinking about quitting his job, and he came out and he brought all this jerky that he did, and he said, and he brought this bottle like a latrine. He was going to piss in his car, leave out of his car, eat.
Was he an Amazon driver?
No, he was not
Okay.
yet. Maybe in a former life, in another multiverse. But he wanted to just spend as much time as he could on the doors for 1 week. So he came prepared with food. Like he was going to sleep, nap in his car. I thought I was so admiring it. And then we get on the doors and I'm so amped up, and he is the driest, most drab, robotic, melatonin voice. And I remember I ripped 3 accounts by noon, and it's a Sunday, and I looked at him and I'm just like, bro, you're never going to be me. I was like, I need you to do this. And this is my breakthrough. I always would want to get people to sell like me. And I said, you're going to be you. We need to find out. You need to go to the door. Your pitch is, I'm an engineer. I know the technical stuff about this way more than the other. I'm here to just ask a few questions to see if this is going to make sense for y'all. And then just start asking questions like a robot. And that guy went on to have his best week today. He's going to hit Golden Door this year. He's one of my sales managers, but he really did crush that week. I think he sold 47 accounts. I remember I cut him a check for 14 grand in 1 week, and he was just like, you can do this? And I'm like, yeah, if you sleep in your car and piss in a bottle and eat beef jerky and do nothing but the job, you can do this.
Right.
And so then over the next couple months, he kind of got the commitment and he quit his engineering job. He was still working it. He just used his PTO to come out and try it out because he had some buddies that were doing it. And I remember that breakthrough for me was like, oh, help people dance their dance. Don't make them all dance like you. So find what makes them special and help them learn that dance first before you start thinking they're just going to become Erik Pyper and go sell the way I sell,
Sure. And so what I garner from that is also, don't just try and mimic what you see and yeah, like with any like super popular salesperson, don't try and just copy them, but learn probably different techniques that they use and then adapt it to who you actually are. Yeah, because I honestly think people can like see right through just fakeness, right? So if you're trying to be Erik Pyper, but you're an engineer with a dry delivery, that's going to come off just really bad. But yeah, dude, I like that. Like training people to their strengths, maybe give them some tips on wording or whatever, but to lean into who they actually are as a person and as a salesperson would be very beneficial to everybody. right?
So
and
are there
it's funny,
are there best practices though?
Go ahead.
Like,
What'd you
are
say?
there best practices, or is it like? Because I like what you're saying here, but
Oh,
like
best
there has to be.
practices, of course. Like here's this is going to help everybody in sales. You're gonna be like, okay, well done. People overcomplicate sales. People give sales a bad rap because you immediately think like, oh, I'm got a car salesman trying to get me into some bullshit, lemon that I don't want. He's trying to sell
Sure.
me a Ford. Get wrecked, Ford owner. But no, I'm kidding. My dad's a big Ford
You're
owner.
just ostracizing all of our audience. Women, Ford
Trust me,
owners.
you're going to get more engagement than you've ever got in your life. Ford owners are going to hit you up in the comments, being like, "I like that." They got to get
I've
their
no
sense in.
no problem with
Um,
Ford. What's your at, Eric?
Yeah, come at me, Ford. You know what you're doing. Step your game up. No, Ford's good. What I'll say is this: like, sales is just connecting the product to the people. And I've seen very successful social people that are just social people do well in sales just by bullshitting and talking and having fun. And then I've seen engineers that know the product in and out, like, Geek Squad. Oh yeah, well, this computer tends to break down a lot, and I think actually what's going on is you're going to have an issue with this later, and so I would strongly suggest that you get the antivirus. But then in a year, I'd probably cancel it. And so people are just like, okay, I guess I'm gonna. How much is it? It's $249, but I can get you a discount. And it's like that guy just sold an antivirus plan. Meanwhile, the manager at Best Buy is just like, why don't you guys sell like Chet? And Chet's just like full blown Asperger's, and the guy just keeps crushing and selling because he's just got this mind, right? He understands the product better than anyone. So when you really boil down that I'm trying to just connect the product to the person, then you don't take personal offense to the fact that if the person's not right or if the product's not right and they don't align, that it's never about you.
Yeah.
It was always about just a mismatch. Like, oh, you're not into brunettes? Yeah, me neither. Cool, dude. See you later. Handshake. Here's my number if you know somebody that is. And then when you really get to understand that your role in sales is just to just qualify people and just get it in front of them and say, hey, are you in the market for some of those cinnamon toasted almonds that you get in the holiday? Like those people are like, yeah, I am right now. But other people that are on a diet are just going to be like, I don't care, bro. It doesn't matter how good it is. And so I think the biggest, like, when you ask the question, what's the thing or the guiding principle or what can help people, it's just don't overcomplicate it. You're just connecting the product to the person and start from there.
So you're connecting the product to the person. What level of, when you're doing these sales, you're going door to door, how much of it is building that trust first in you before the product, or you do the build trust in the product and then trust in you?
I mean, now you're starting to get into the reason you need training. Oh, now
Well,
let's
that's why
just
we're doing
start
this
to,
podcast.
yeah. No, I get it. We'll give him a little amuse bouche, a little taster, little. Let's get the palate activated. There's a lot of good principles. What I did was I came at sales from the social side, so I never was classically trained, not in 20 years. I actually got a master's degree in sociology and wanted to become a professor. And so for me, I was always more interested in the dynamics around the social element and people and what made them tick in mass, and then what made them tick on a micro symbolic interaction than I ever was about, like, salesmanship as a psychology. Like, I didn't care about the ideas around it psychologically. And so my approach to sales never was like train. It was just I knew how people operated. And so then I would pick a product that I liked, that I believed in, and then I would go around and just kind of just mingle and mix it up with people because it fills my cup. And then over
Right.
time I realized that there are certain things that happen in sales that you need to understand to get really proficient. And it's kind of like when you're getting really good at fishing or martial arts or anything, music, when you start to understand the theory behind it, then you can really start to dissect it a little bit more. And so, one of the things I will say, and is persuasive elements of speech, logos, ethos, pathos, and that's like a really good foundation for how I train in my sales world. So logos is the logical persuasion or the argument that you're making. Ethos is your credibility surrounding it. And then you have pathos, which is the emotional connection that you're going to have to what you're trying to say. And so you'll see, presidential speeches where they'll get up there and they'll be like, Bob, he's a plumber. He's struggling in Ohio. And he's trying to make ends meet. And you're
That's
like,
a terrible Donald Trump impersonation.
let me tell you, I don't have a good one. But you'll see all these elements in
Sure.
speech,
Oh yeah. Yes. Yeah.
but they're not interactive. And so then I always thought like, oh, how could you do this interactively? And then here's a fourth one that people don't think about that does overarch all three of those, and it's called kairos, which is just timing. And so sometimes a joke could be hilarious, it's just not a good timing. Sometimes the pitch could be perfect and all the things could line up, but it just does not line up or mesh with the person, and it's not the right time. And so when you understand the theory around those things, then you really start to hone in on like what makes me a perfect warrior, or what makes me a perfect killer on the doors or in sales or in my profession, and how do I improve each of these elements, and then how do I perceive the timing element for others?
Right. Right. No, I think that's really good, especially the timing part. That's so true. Like when I'd be going around to different businesses and pitching my product or my service, I mean, the amount of times that it just wasn't the right time, but I got them later down the road. So do you run into that, Eric, where maybe someone right then you're talking to them like, yeah, not interested. Do you get calls from those people down the line?
I
Like, hey, now we do need it.
Yeah,
You were a really nice guy.
I believe that the majority of what you just said is a smokescreen. And so I believe that a lot of that I need to qualify it. So I don't
Oh,
really
gotcha.
deal in, oh, I'm not really that interested. I'm not here to gauge interest. And then people are just like, oh, well, I don't want this. I'm like, well, it's my job to qualify if you do or you don't. I'll decide if you want this or if you don't. Like kind of like in a dick way. Like it's my job to get through and like I got a list of people that I'm going to talk to. I need to find out if like I even need to come back, because a lot of times people are going to be like, yeah, come back, and that's genuine. They're not the decision maker. It's going to be their husband. They want to do decision by committee. They have some other technical questions that I can help answer. That's different. But when people give you like, oh yeah, I don't, I'm good, man, or I'm not interested, like that's almost always just a smokescreen. It's just a defense mechanism they're putting up.
You've never had someone that's down the line reached back out to you to get
100%.
fiber?
Yeah, no, you do. Well, you have prospects. It's anything. You're going to
Sure.
sell
You're
people
right.
6 months later. I mean, I
Sure.
always work like that. But the problem is, this is what I'll say about that is like, if you're actively hunting your prospects, because they call it hunting versus farming. Farming is like a lead baby. They're the type of people that just want leads and then they want to convert them. And if you shut off that lead funnel, then they die. And
Right.
hunters are like jungle cats. They don't give a shit, dude. They're like, oh, you hyenas just took my kill. Fine, I'll just go find another gazelle. Like, okay, you guys want to do like, and so you're always going to have people in a market. Like if your business is going well, they're going to know you. And there's that art of, I had a conversation with Sean Finnegan recently, and he talked to me about how he's become the networking guy because he read this book. I think it's Persuasion, where it's like the art of basically like your who you are is in the room or in the discussion or in the market or in the space before you even get there. And so the job's already done. And so you'll see people that will market and they'll be like, oh, like PC Laptops is a good one out of Utah, Dan Young. And he forever did PC Laptops and he's doing these goofy commercials and PC Laptops. And so the minute that like you get a call from PC Laptops, are like, oh, that dude, yeah, that's cool. All right, yeah, you guys are running a special. Like a lot of times when you're marketing, and I'm sure with your business, your cleaning business, like, oh, you guys do that for them. Oh, that's cool. So you will get people that come back, but that's not active. That's not what I do. What I do is I'm out there getting the next kill. I'm not out there trying to like, build a pipeline and a funnel for farming. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, like I do, but my job is like what I do in my business is I just got a bunch of little killers and we're out there like a pack of lions trying to just get accounts, and we're stacking bodies all day. I'm not waiting for
Gotcha.
people to come to me in any sales environment. And there is ways you could, but that's not how I market.
Oh, okay. No, that's I think it's fair enough. Let's see. All right, Erik. So, if every entrepreneur watching could only master one sales skill, what skill would you tell them to master?
Yeah. Hmm. I would say tactical empathy. It's a
What does that mean?
It's a Chris Voss principle. Chris Voss, he has a book. It's called Never Split the Difference. And he was a FBI hostage negotiator for over, I think, a decade. And he really gets into the psychology of how people tick and making it happen and what this means and the difference between why questions versus how and what questions. And he really starts to help you understand how things cut harshly and when to use them and how. And tactical empathy is really just genuinely listening to people at the right time and repeating back to them exactly what they said. And so people will just say, I'm not interested. And then you'll just be like, you're not interested? And they're like, yeah, dude, like, I'm not, we're good with what you got. We got. And you're like, okay, you're good with what you got. And it seems so dumb, but when you get genuine with it, oh my gosh, like you break down that instant defense that people put towards salesmanship and you start to get to the heart of what they want. And that he labels out the black swan, where every individual is carrying or holding something and they don't want to reveal it. And so like in the case of somebody that comes in and let's just say you're a car salesman and this lady or this couple older, 60 plus walks through the door and you have this conversation. They're like, honestly, we're just looking today. And you're like, oh, you're just looking today? Okay, great. And then you'll ask a how or what question. Okay, how can I, help you today? And then if you do it right and you do it well and you master tactical empathy, you get to a point where you're always on their side. And so if you're on their side and you're their advocate, then they're never sold. The product just falls in and it lines up and it's just like, this doesn't make sense for you, man. Honestly, I don't think you're really going to need an EV vehicle. We have a lot of discounts this month, but that doesn't seem like it's a good fit. It seems like you're more into like this. And so the thing that you get out of tactical empathy is if you don't really understand the problem or what they're looking for, or you never get to the black swan, then you don't know what point to talk about in the sales process or the pitch.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Tactical empathy. Good. I think that's great. Let's do another one. Let's say you're dropped into a brand new city. I know you've never done this before, Erik. With no money, no connections, just a product in your backpack. How do you get your first sale within 24 hours?
Oh, first thing you need to do is market. You need to do market research. You can't just assume that you're okay. So, now we're getting into my sauce. This is my sauce. Ooh, this is my sauce. So I'm giving you a little hint, a little taster. I go into this in depth, but no, I don't really want to give that out. It's been such a guiding light. What I'll say is this: the product needs to be worth selling. First off, so if you're just dumped into a market and you just have a thing, and it's some BS product, then you're fighting an uphill battle and you're just coercing.
Let's say it's a product you believe in.
Okay. Well, just give me a product that I believe in, like donuts.
Fiber.
Okay, let's go with donuts. So I believe in donuts. Like, right, I got this product. I got to go sell some donuts. The first thing I'm going to do is understand the market, and then I'm going to understand the time to get to my customers, and then I'm going to map out and route out how and what and how many I can get and how that scales. And then this is the thing that am I trying to grow this? Like, what's the goal of this?
Make a sale in 24 hours, right?
Yeah, make a sale in 24 hours.
Yeah. Donuts?
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
I go, me
Where are you
personally,
going first?
the cop shop instantly. I'm sitting outside. I got the cart. I'm joking. I'm making jokes with these guys. I'm like, listen, I know they're not bagels. Some of you are just into holes of different kinds. This is the one. All right. This is the donut for you. And I got to know what you're into, dog. So how we feeling? Like, are we doing a 2-for-1? I got to get rid of these today. I mean, if it's not for you, I'll go hit the other precinct. And so you're just kind of a different energy, I think is what I do. And then you're kind of trying to identify individuals that are going to work with you. And then you start to ask them for like referrals or how to get in. Like, is this just not the vibe? Like, am I missing something here? Do I not, is it, you guys don't like donuts, or no, we do, but come back after 1. Okay. 1's when I need to be here. All right. Got you. So if I come back after 1, that's when everybody's doing a shift change. Yep. Guys are getting off work. Guys are getting on work. Everybody likes to have a snack. Perfect. I'll be back at 1. So like for me, you gotta do a little bit of market research, and you gotta know your audience. And then you gotta get out there and just start mixing it up with people and talking. You gotta just gain data. I need to know what's going on. Why are you not buying? Why do you not want to? Oh, the price is too high. Oh, it's too sugary. Like, okay. So a lot of times you need to go out, before, assuming the product's not perfect, you need to do some market research before you can make the sale.
Well, you just also illustrated that there's 2 different ways about going. So, like, depending on the scenario is going to depend on the sales trajectory that you go with. Where it's, I have to make a sale in 24 hours. I can be that dude in Las Vegas who's just trying to sell my rap CD to as many people as possible, versus what you prefer to do, which is map out, plan to scale. So it's like, do you want to sell $1,000 a month of the same thing over and over and over again? Or do you want to go from 1,000 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 and go from there?
Bars on bars on bars. You do need to understand first. That's right. The prerequisite is, what's the goal? Okay, I'm making the sale, but then what? I always am like, then what?
Right.
What's the then what?
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
that's so important. Sorry, Alex, go.
Just I've been listening to, like, obviously I feel like I've like learned a lot, but like there's like 2 like big things that I feel like you've hit multiple times, and then you ended it there with, I think, beautiful, like, you need to do all your research. But you've said, I think, 3 times, I got to love the product. You can sell and not love the product, like when you're working at that linen company, right? Or maybe you did believe in the product. I don't know. Like, you didn't. So like, you have to believe in the product. Then number 2, but you've kind of like danced around like saying it exactly like this. Like, you almost have to have like no ego. You have to have what I call like the Foo Fighters, like done on to the next one. Where it's just like, okay, cool. Like almost like Chad from like that SNL character, like, okay. And then let's go to the, like, especially if you're doing the hunter mentality that you're talking about, it's just like, this is in no way a reflection of me if I don't get this sale. Next one, which is something I struggle with. So it's like a good reminder of like, this has nothing to do with my self-worth. So those are like the really 2, like, I have products I believe in, but it's getting over that. It's getting over believing that this is like, oh, this is a reflection of Alex. It's just, no, they didn't need that thing.
Well, I'll give you my sauce. So my recipe is this: any venture that you get into, you need to make sure, is the product that I'm selling we're selling? Are the people that I'm working with worth working with? And is the carrot big enough? And that's like my recipe. That's it right there. If you're going to wonder how you make, banana nut bread, that's mine. Anything that I do, the first thing I need to know is like, is the product we're selling? And I can believe in that if I know it's going to impact and affect change in any way. Like, I don't need to care that much about fiber optic internet, because I don't. But I do care about the ability to help people save some money, or get people a better product, or get a product that my reps can sell that helps them change their life. And now, like, all of a sudden, I'm providing value in the market. And then the carrot's got to be big enough. And this is the sad truth, but like, if you got a great product and you got great people that you work with, but you don't make that much money, and you're just doing charity work, or you're, a school teacher that's underpaid, you're not, like, it's so rewarding and it's so great, but you're not in a business of wealth. You're in a business of just enjoyment. And that's fine. There's ways in your life where you don't want to be in that kind of business. You just want to affect a lot of change and enjoy the ride. That's great. You can. For me, I got to have a carrot, because I got ADHD, and if I don't get motivated, I won't go. Like, I'm a meat eater, man. Like, if I don't have a big enough chunk that I'm chasing, I won't do it.
Do you think
Yeah.
if like they're like I would like to see like what your motivators are? I assume the motivator is making money, but like, do you think there's a lifestyle that's like, hey, we're gonna give you this lifestyle where you would still want to go out and be like, I just have a hunger to do this. Does that make sense?
100%.
Is there a number?
I love selling.
Like, is there a number where you'd be like, yep, all of this is taken care of. I'll do this forever.
I'll sell forever. Because it fills my cup to talk to people, and it fills my cup to understand the new thing. There's always going to be some new thing that people don't understand. Like, I'm already into these sex robots. I'm like, bro, are we going to be having sex with robots? Like, is that a thing? Is this like what we're doing? Like, I'm like understanding that. I was like, are my kids going to bring home a robot? Like Gary Vee
Podcast, Bitcoin. Don't miss out on this one, dude. Don't miss out on this one.
Yeah. Well, let's start with prom robots before the sex robots for your kids.
No, 100%. No, for the young entrepreneurs, don't get tied up in that. But dude, she's got a vape attached to one finger. She's got maple syrup attached to another. Like, you don't know the possibility. Yeah, you have no idea. She's got an endless stream of like the beautiful peanut butter that is inside a Hershey's cup, like just on demand. Like you could get all sorts of weird with robotics. And I think to myself, I'm like, well, this is going to change the world. And somebody is going to need to go to some person and say, let me tell you how this robot in your house is going to fold your laundry and you can sleep safe at night, and we'll store it in the garage and it won't be hovering over you at 3 a.m. and give you nightmares. Like, let me walk you through that process of getting a robot in your house. I will always want to drive the future, because when you have a new product or new program or new thing, everyone's resistant to change, and you're helping them get over that and make the change. I will always love it.
And not only that, but you're ahead of the curve, right? Like, if you can kind of identify those types of things that people are eventually going to want, and you're already an expert in that thing, then when it all of a sudden becomes popular, you're already the expert. You're the person people are going to be looking to when they want it, or they want to learn how to sell it, or whatever it is. I think that's really, really important. I mean, and to take it back to maybe like just a entrepreneur, not selling sex robots, with whatever they're selling. If they're selling carpet cleaning or window cleaning, it's innovating how you do things. Like, if there's a new way to clean carpets, it's going to be maybe seems kind of out of left field and is weird or whatever, but you could see that how effective it's going to be. It's going to cut costs, and it's going to dry faster, or whatever it is. Like, always be learning, especially whatever you're in. Whatever your space is, whatever your service is or product is, always be kind of on the forefront of all the new things that are happening, so that you can take advantage of it. Like, when I had Honestly Clean, there was this window cleaning system that nobody had. It essentially allowed us to clean up to 6 stories and never have to get on a ladder. We were the only ones that had it in Utah. And so we were just crushing it because everyone thought it was weird. They didn't understand it. I saw the potential in it, so we got it and just crushed with it. So even if you're not, again, selling sex robots, if you're whatever service you're in or whatever product you're in, make sure you're staying kind of just on top of your field, and be learning and be first to it.
There's a book that explains exactly that. It's one of PBD's top recommended books, and it's Blue Ocean Strategy. Mm-hmm. And then the other book that kind of pairs with exactly what you're talking about is The Innovator's Dilemma. And so you have both, and actually Kimby Clark co-wrote Innovator's Dilemma. Go look at that. That's crazy. Dropping some Southeastern Idaho knowledge on you. But yeah, Harvard grad, wrote that book, co-wrote it. And it's the truth, man. I mean, you look at all these big businesses, the West Indian, spice company, you had Sears, you have all the Kmart, you get all these people that are behemoths, and then they fail. And you're like, how does that happen? And it's because they focus so much on the thing they're good at that they miss the next thing they could be great at.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, man. And like that Blue Ocean Strategy, that's the lull. Like, you get really good at a thing, and then you're like, nah, I'm too comfortable. I got to go be uncomfortable again. That's why when you ask me, is there a number? There never is. Like, I will always be, I'm a jungle cat now. I got to go kill the next thing.
Cool. And what you both were just describing is the adoption cycle. I mean, Aaron even said the word innovator, like the very first or innovation, the very first part of the adoption cycle is being an innovator. And that's the first 2.5% of all people doing a specific thing. And then to me, it sounds like both of you fall either in like the innovator or early adopter stage when it comes to like emerging technologies. And all I can say is if you are a business owner and you are not in those two sections, either an innovator or early adopter, what they just described, you then will go out of business because someone will have some new thing. It's so hard trying to convince business owners like we need to do things this way, whether it be with AI now as like a marketing company owner, like we need to go heavy into AI, still trying to like get people on TikTok. They're like, oh, well, our people aren't on TikTok. I'm like, they will be in 5 years when they are making big purchases. So we need to get on it now. So we already have a following. And then you're just gonna be like, well, how come we're not getting as many sales anymore? It's like, because you were on Facebook this entire time and the people making purchases at this point are no longer there. And then TikTok and Facebook and Instagram are just names for whatever the next emerging technology is going to be.
Exactly.
Like,
And
Exactly.
those companies buy that. I remember Oculus was the thing, and then the Meta glasses became about. Why? Because the company that made the Oculus got acquired by Facebook, which is Meta, and then they made the Meta glasses. It's not theirs. They just took all the IP, re-engineered a lot of that, squashed their competition, and just absorbed it. A lot of these companies, that's what they do, man. They just take on the new tech and they acquire them. So I'm not seeing
Instagram,
it like
Google buys YouTube.
Yeah, but there's also like this part where you can provide a service and like have an unsexy business. And you got to understand there's a balance. You can get way too over the moon on leverages. I've seen guys spend way too damn much money trying to like create the perfect business. And really the best business is just the one you can execute. So you don't need to go out and
rely on
involving yourself with all these leverages and start spending thousands of dollars on stuff and tech. And I need this and I need, you don't, dude. You could go pay per form, go out there, get some contracts, come back, do the service for them. You can start so small and then scale as your needs meet. And the thing here that we're saying, and I think that they would, everyone here would agree with, is you need to be cautious about your growth to not ignore these other things as they come up. Correct. And if you start to ignore those, well, then you can't grow and scale like your competitors can.
Yeah, that's so true. The whole, I have to make everything perfect. My business plan has to be perfect. My product has to be 100% perfect. Everything in my organization has to be perfect. Dude, that's all we ever talk about on this channel.
Just try shit, man.
It's just do it. Go fucking do it. That was like the last, I think this last video I just posted was it was a Gary Vee one where he's just like, this lady's like, I don't know what to name my LLC. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Name it whatever you want. Just go start your business. It doesn't matter. Like, people get so caught up in these little parts of the business that don't matter. Like we got to get business cards. If we don't have business cards, how are we ever? And it has to be the perfect business card. It's got to look certain. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you need to have a service or product that's good. And then you need to start your business and fucking start knocking doors. That's all you really, there's no secret, right? Like, we're trying to get all these secrets out of Erik, out of you. And but that's not a secret. I think just some people are always looking for excuses of why they can't start their business yet. And that makes them feel good that they're talking about starting a business and then they never do. It's like, dude, just go fucking start your business and go from there. And then kind of apply the things you learn from this podcast as you're growing your business. I don't know. That just, obviously I'm passionate about that.
No, stand on
LinkedIn.
On business, bro. Like, that's some bars right there because you've done it. And the thing is like, I know your backstory on investing too. So you exit, you sell what you got. You didn't just wait. You're like, I need to get this. I get rid of this money. I got to invest this money. I got to go do this thing. And yeah, it wasn't perfect. You started talking about that. Like, I've had to do that too. Like, I'll take, some money. I'll just dump it into a thing. And I'm like, why did I do that? I'm like, why you did that. You're not going to get yourself upended. You're branching. And so I want you to conceptualize everything we're talking about. This is how I thought about it the other day. When you start your business and your product's going well, you have your core trunk. That seemed a little suggestive. You have your core trunk, right? That's coming up. You're growing roots. You're getting more and more. You have more and more coming in. You need to then start branching. Right. And some of those branches are going to yield dick all. Nothing.
Mhm.
Shouldn't have done it. Oh my gosh, I lost a lot of money. That cost me 20 grand. That cost me 40 grand. That cost me 100 grand. It'll get worse and worse and worse. Tom Brady lost $12 million and he lost a bunch more in a divorce. And do you think that guy is stopping from, like, I just saw that he opened up 7 or 12 new locations for card shops. He has these trading card shops that he's opening up.
Mhm.
And, that's kind of the space that I'm interested in getting into. But you think that like his crypto branch all of a sudden got him, it was the FTX debacle, got him like
Yeah.
gun shy about doing business, ever again? No. And you think that he's like done? No, dude. He takes all of his expertise, his knowledge, what he has, and he goes and starts broadcasting.
Right.
Can't play anymore. So what can I do? How can I do it? Can I do any mentorship? Can I do any coaching? What's my value now? And that's the other thing that sucks is your value in the marketplace is going to continually evolve and shift and change. And you need to make sure that like you're rolling with those punches.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Dude, this is all.
We could talk.
I know. That was like, dude, we could talk for another 5 hours about all this kind of stuff. But let's get into some questions, Eric. Are you ready? Some listener questions. Listener questions. All right. The first one is, hi, unsexy businessmen. And we'll just put, and Eric. Eric's just unsexy.
100%. On brand. I mean, guys, when I got the phone call, let me say this before we get into the kitchen or the question, it was just like, I am so on brand. I thought you guys were going to pay me to be the mascot. It's like, if you want to know an unsexy businessman, this is the guy. No, I realize it's flattering as it is, man.
We have our own faces for that, Eric. All right. I've been doing. Oh, this is. See, we brought this up for. This is your lane. I've been going door to door for the past couple of weeks selling pest control services, and honestly, I'm getting really discouraged. Most of the time, people don't even let me get my pitch out. They shut the door, say not interested within the first few seconds. I'm starting to feel like I'm bothering people. Out of 60 doors today, I only got one person to hear me out all the way through. Am I approaching wrong? So that's the first part of it. And then, do you have any tips for how to start a conversation so I don't get shut down right away? And what's the best way? This guy's got a lot of questions. Great. Thank you for submitting this. And what's the best way to handle it when people say they're not interested? I don't want to come across pushy, but I also don't want to waste their time. Any advice is very much appreciated. Thank you. So the first part of that question, Eric, was
that. I remember it.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Okay. First off, you need to understand the product that you're selling and be confident in it. If you don't have any kind of confidence in your product, you need to find something else to go sell. I'm just going to tell you plainly right now,
Sure.
dude, you're going to continue to be miserable if you're out there pushing Cutco knives and you don't believe in the fact that they can cut. You're going to be upset if you're not saying you're not, selling bug spray, and you think that if you're jaded and you're just like, this contract sucks, I don't know why we're doing this, our company sucks, just leave. If you're just doing sales and you're selling pest control and you don't believe in the product, find something you do believe in. Okay. Because there's stuff out and there's pest control companies out there that you can go believe in. So if that's not the case and you're like, nope, I'm committed, I got to do this for 3 to 4 months. Doesn't matter if I care or not. And I can't leave, right? I'm obligated to see this out. Then what you need to do is you need to get serious about making yourself unique to every door. And so there is some kind of like, there's a couple things you can do. There's a book, Atomic Habits, that's good. There's another book called Pitch Anything. We're doing a training on that with my group right now. Those are pretty good places to start, but you can do the superhuman or the super normal stimuli. And a lot of people will do this with themselves where they get trained on dopamine. So you're maybe in a slump, you got to rewire your brain. You can habit stack. And what you'll do is, like, anytime you get a conversation with somebody, I've seen people do like Vicks vapor rubs, like the tubes of it. They'll just smell Vicks. I don't recommend vaping because almost everybody vapes now and it's horrible for you. But like, you can smell a thing and you're like, oh, and then it will wire your brain to get you in a condition of saying, now I want to go have that again. I need to have another conversation. And so what I've seen happen in sales guys is they'll get out there and they'll get in a slump and they're like, I'm not doing good. I'm not going good. And you're in a downward spiral. You will continue to go and it will just get worse and worse and worse. Nothing will improve for you. You have to then restart that in the upward trajectory. And it's going to be 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And you need to try to train yourself through accountability devices. All this is outlined in Atomic Habits. or it's outlined on a pitch side in Pitch Anything. And Pitch Anything is a really good version of what this is. But if you're struggling to get your pitch out, that's probably a transfer of energy issue. So if I come to the door, I'm going to be daddy. I got gray hair. I got things to do. It's going to be my presentation. There's a lot. It could be just more than just your pitch. I don't know how you look. I don't know how you smell. You got a face tattoo that says booger. You're probably not going to have a lot of, success in getting out your pitch. If you roll up in some dumpy car and the hubcaps are rattling off, you're probably not going to get a lot of respect. So what you need to do, and there are people out there on social media, this is a tangible thing I would let you do. If you're in a one-party consent state and you can record your pitch, record it and send it out to the world to be criticized. People will give you feedback. If you're in a two-party consent state, you then need to say to the person like, hey, I'm using this and recording this conversation for training purposes to get better at my job and know where I can improve. Or do you consent? Or are you okay with being recorded on right now? And I just have the audio. I don't have any kind of video. I'm just trying to get better in my craft. That's a really good entry point into your pitch, because then you're going to get some people that are like, oh, this guy's just trying to work a job, or you're going to get the Karen that's going to slam the door in your face before she denied you at the consent, and that lady's a hoe anyways, you don't want to talk to her. So if it was me, like, seriously, that's her problem. Karen, go, cry and
Your
face
ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So my thing there is like the tangible thing is just record yourself, send it back in, man. I'm happy to criticize it. Mediocre salesman, follow me on Instagram. I'm happy to criticize that. I'll kick it around to our tech.
Well, Eric, we'll get to the plugs at the end.
I'm just telling it. Okay.
Slow down. No, I'm just joking. I'm totally kidding, dude.
That's what I would do. That's what I would do.
I like that. Yeah. I was gonna say too, like I'm not going to add really to what you just said, but like, yeah, if you have that negative energy, I'm going to add something. If you have that negative energy, it's so palpable, right? When you go to the next house and we've all had this when someone knocked on the door and I accidentally opened it. Cause I hate door-to-door salesmen.
Great. I love you. I want to sell you.
No, but like, and then they just seem miserable and you're just like, all right. So I totally agree. Yeah, having the right energy, that's great. No, I really like that. We got one more for you real quick, Eric. God damn, these are long. All right. I'm hoping you can give me some advice on handling a tricky situation. Last week, I closed a deal with a homeowner while going door to door. They agreed to a one-time pest control treatment. And we went ahead and provided the service the very next day. The treatment was done properly, and they seemed satisfied with everything when we were finished. The issue is they still haven't paid. At the door, the customer mentioned that they didn't have their card on them and asked if they could settle up when the service was completed. I agreed because I didn't want to lose the sale, but now it's been 5 days and I haven't received anything. I've called twice and left a voicemail, no response. How do I handle this? I don't want to burn a potential long-term client, but I also can't afford to provide services for free. Yes, obviously. And should I go back to their house and a formal invoice or cut my losses and move on?
You can answer this question in like 30 seconds. I'll let you answer it.
No, dude, you're here. You're our guest,
You want
man.
me to answer this? You didn't do a good job qualifying the customer. This is not a customer you want. There's nothing you should feel about this in either way. This is not a customer you want. Nobody makes it in business by having people that they cater to that don't pay their bills or their invoices. Nobody wants that client. There's not a single at any level, bro. You're a construction company. You hire these electricians to come in. They do a job. You're like, oh, I don't want to lose these electricians. They're really good, but they never pay their invoice. It doesn't matter how good they are or how good you perceive it. They're not the right people. So when I say product we're selling, are the people that I'm working with worth working with, and is the carrot big enough? If that person's not the right person, and let's say you're in upstate New York or you're somewhere where everyone sucks, you're going to hate it, right? Right? Upstate,
Right,
actually,
you're killing all our audience, Eric.
Scratch that. I love upstate. I'm talking like the city. Those people, it's miserable. Or New Jersey. Everybody shits on New Jersey.
Stop naming cities.
Let me just keep going. I'm trying to get the engagement.
Have you ever heard of America?
It's
It's
the
the
worst.
worst.
Don't get me started about
let's call it
Florida.
Canada. The Canadians, dude, they're too nice. You can't get any. No, we'll keep going. No, I'm kidding. Like, there's good people everywhere on this planet.
Sure.
Except for New Jersey.
Yes.
But what I'll say is, I'm kidding, dude. I love New Jersey people. They're just different, right? So back to the like, why are you chasing this person? And pitch anything.
Yeah.
It's like, you're the prize. And if this person is not feeling like you're the prize, like, good luck. You got one treatment. And this is what I'll tell that person. I'm like, man, if you are wanting to do a Hail Mary, and if you do think that there's some hope to be saved, and you do feel like it was an honest mistake, here's my answer. Ma'am, like, I understand that there was an issue with the invoice, but we're providing a service. I stand by my service. I earn my business honestly. And at this point, we have not received an invoice from you. And my dad, a long time ago, he told me that you can only skin a cat once. All right. And then they're
I thought
going to be
there's
like,
9 different ways to skin a cat.
that's the weird. Yeah. No. What did he say? It was.
Oh,
it
but
was-
once. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, you only get a chance to do
process.
it once, right? You can
Sure.
shave it as many times as you want. Or I think it was a cat. Now I feel bad. I got tongue tied, and then that was a bad example. Don't say that verbatim. But just like with the sheep thing, he's like, yeah, you can skin a lamb once, is what he said. That's what it was. It was a lamb. He's like, but you can shave it for wool. I was like, ma'am, I'm happy to come back and provide the service, but if we can't square up on this invoice, I can no longer, like, in any good, I can't suggest this.
Yeah, I mean, if she came back at all, I mean, if she's like, hey, I want my next service, it's obviously like, well, you got to pay your first bill immediately before we're doing anything else. My thing is, I'm 100%. Alex and I talked about this the other day on our podcast. Like, sometimes you got to cut your losses. Like, how much time are you putting into trying to get? I mean, what does this service cost? I have no idea. Like $100,
yeah,
$70.
Yeah,
like, how much time are you dedicating to try and get your? Let's say it's $150 to get your $150. Like, are you spending hours and hours and hours when you could be doing sales and you could be getting more revenue? Yeah, like, as much as that's, if you've put the effort already into trying to get your money, then, and they're still not paying, then just move on. It's like and there's just certain customers you don't want to. Do you want to be dealing with this every time? Let's say she does pay and she's like 3 weeks late or a month late. Do you want to keep chasing that every single time you're working with this lady? She always forgets to pay you. No, Erik, you said it exactly right. Fuck her. Like, just go to the next person and keep doing your sales. You're going to run into that sometimes, and it sucks. The other way you prevent this is, as soon as she says, I don't have my credit card right now, like, great. As soon as you do, that's when we're going to provide our service for you. Like, just lesson learned. This is all about business. Business is learning from your mistakes. The mistake was doing that service and not getting paid before. If that's how your business is structured, where you're getting paid before you perform the service, then don't perform the service. Make sure you're paid and then do it. And then just let her know that. Like, and this is for all entrepreneurs. Always do this, and always say, even if this haven't happened, it's maybe a little bit of a fib, but just say, like, yeah, sorry, we have to get paid up front. We got burned in the past, and so now on, we have to get paid up front. And then that kind of like lets people like, oh, that sucks. Someone burned them. I don't want to be that person that burns them. Or if they are the type of person that does want to burn you and they're still not willing to pay you, go to the next house. Like, that's all it is. But for all entrepreneurs, especially service-based ones, make sure you're getting paid before you perform that service. No, but hey, dude, this was awesome. We'll definitely get you on again. This is going to be our longest podcast by far, and I thought it would be because we have 3 people instead of 2. So I really appreciate your time. Here is your time, Erik. Do your plugs, baby. Do your plugs.
Oh man, I got a new thing that I'm starting up.
All right, that's it, everybody. So thanks for listening.
Yes, thanks for having me. Yep, appreciate you guys. No, I do have a new thing I'm starting up. It's on Instagram called Breaks Not Broken. We're going to be doing a podcast, opening up cards at the end of that, and then donating those cards to charity. So we're looking for
what kind of cards?
What kind of cards? Yeah,
anything that the guest chooses. Last night in an auction, I bought some really slutty, like, this guy had them forever. And some of them were like in full nude. I'm like, I don't want that. But he had some other stuff.
Wait,
yeah. So I got SpongeBob.
We're getting demonetized, Alex.
We got Paralympics. We got baseball, basketball. I'm gonna have every type.
Pokemon,
Turtles,
like everything. If it's a card.
And then at that point, the guest gets to choose. And then if we hit anything boss, we'll put it in the juice box. And then we're gonna just auction that off, and people can buy it. So I'm starting a whatnot around that as well. And those details are
cool.
Out.
Mm-hmm. What was that name again?
Breaks Not Broken. And so it's like, it's the nomenclature is you're breaking open a case or boxes, and it's like you'll go in and to breaks, and they'll just sit there and open pack after pack after pack. And then the idea is, like, we want to get at the heart of, like, how somebody was almost broken, but then they didn't.
Gotcha. Oh, love it, dude. That's all. Anything else?
No, that's it. You can follow me on Mediocre Salesman on Insta, but I'm trying to do the fat journey thing there too. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, that was a great self-promotion, Eric. Yeah,
I'm
go
not
follow
the best at
Eric.
self-promoting because I really want to give the shine to other people. What I really do want the Breaks Not Broken thing to take off, because I
Good.
believe we're going to be able to do a lot of cool stuff for some people with these cards. Like when I had Dan Young on, he hit like 2 crazy good cards that are probably worth around, I don't know, $800 to $1,200. And so when I think about like us compiling all these nice cards, or maybe we get like a crazy hit in a card or a Pokemon and then we sell them, we're also going to be selling those for auctions. So people can come in and charitably donate, knowing that they're going to get that card and it's all going to charity. 13%.
And that charity is Mediocre Salesman. Is that right?
No, I'm not doing that. That's thing. That's not at all what it is. But
no, I'm joking, Eric.
I want to do like, I don't like big box charities. I think they're a sham. I don't like that. I want to find somebody that's in need and really help and change their life, and then fly out, maybe do some work in the market, and then hand them a big fat check and change their life.
That's awesome, dude. Well, thank you, Eric, for your time and your wisdom. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Go check out UnsexyBusinessmen.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave some comments, especially for Eric, in the comment section down below. He will definitely read all of them. So thanks again for watching.
New Jersey people, women,
bring it down.
Send them on. Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you. We'll see you later, man.
Thank you for listening to the Unsexy Businessmen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Now go get to work.